haunting of Dr. Emmerson. Dr. Emmerson knew he wasn't mad, though his burden was heavy, enduring the skepticism from others who, in the mundanity of their daily routines, appeared content to traverse the congested roadways, culminating their journey with a visit to the unremarkable sassy salad for supper. They seemed to laugh, intoxicated by the mediocrity of life, their horizons constrained to the span of a wineglass, unable to extend their gaze beyond its rim. However, Dr. Emmerson discerned his divergence from this norm and embraced it. The device he initially fashioned as a prototype had undergone rigorous testing, beginning with unfortunates from the world of animal strays. Subsequently, he progressed to the stage of human trials, enticed by the enigmatic allure of the human psyche. Impressed by his own cunning, the anonymous online advertisements drew outliers of society to his doorstep. Tonight, he stood on the precipice of completing his magnum opus. The results from the preliminary tests illuminated a tantalizing prospect: the transmutation of human consciousness into tangible reality. His ingenious design afforded the means to transcribe the labyrinthine corridors of the human brain into discernible data. The minuscule yet formidable nanodevice he engineered promised unparalleled oversight over the entire spectrum of human activity. The vagrant before him remained blissfully unaware of the profound endeavor in which he unwittingly participated. The allure of meager coins was sufficiently persuasive to relinquish everything inside his mind. It was a lamentable naivete, yet in a way his extraordinary stroke of fortune, for in this moment, he stood poised to become the inaugural pilgrim to embark upon the hallowed path toward genuine immortality. A fleeting semblance of a grin danced across the man's face as he reclined before the doctor. Pondering what misfortune led this person to his present circumstances, the doctor ruminated briefly, only to ultimately dismiss the matter as inconsequential. "Remain still," the doctor intoned with measured assurance. "The apparatus will execute a surgical incision at the base of your skull. It will be performed with such precision that you will feel nothing. Upon its completion, you will be alerted by a gentle chime." The man nodded with palpable anxiety, his wiry beard gently rustling over his protuberant stomach. The machine surged to life, its mechanical appendage commencing an intricate dance as it delicately traversed the contours of the man's head. With impeccable calculations, it scanned the cerebral terrain, harvesting a trove of data that would soon be transcribed into the annals of his consciousness. In a deft, surgical maneuver, a needle, honed to a razor's edge, penetrated the depths of his soft tissue, an entry point to accommodate the nanodevice. Swiftly, a second robotic arm engaged, bearing antiseptic wipes, each touch a gentle whisper. The execution unfolded with unerring perfection. Dr. Emmerson, consumed by an exhilaration that surpassed anything he had ever known, pivoted towards his workstation. With the deliberate press of the enter key like something out of a movie, he initiated the program. The culmination of 11 years of relentless dedication and unwavering ambition. The room seemed to hold its breath, enveloped in an eerie stillness. The computer screen flickered to life, displaying intricate algorithms and cascading lines of code. His heart pounded in rhythm with the suspense that filled the air. The nano device, now securely nestled within the recesses of the vagrant's brain, began its work. It was a symphony of technology and neuroscience, a union of human consciousness and machine intelligence. Dr. Emmerson watched with bated breath as the data began to flow, a digital river that carried the memories and experiences of the homeless man into the realm of ones and zeros. For a moment seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly energy. The air crackled with anticipation, and the fluorescent lights above flickered, casting eerie shadows on the laboratory's cold, sterile walls. Everything was going according to plan. Dr. Emmerson could feel the sweat dripping down his neck as he watched the screen with an almost clinical detachment from anything else around him. It was a miracle that he even heard the man behind him groan. His concentration shattered like fragile glass, a wave of anger swelling within him. With the briefest of glances, he turned his attention to his subject. The man's eyes betrayed the disturbing transformation. They rolled back, drowning in a sickly yellow hue, shifting helplessly, a silent confusion. Restless movements bore witness to a profound disquiet. The nanodevice was meticulously extracting his consciousness, and it would leave nothing behind but a hollow vessel. The machine, an unfeeling sentinel of scientific ambition, chimed with mechanical indifference. heralding the completion of its ruthless procedure. The homeless man lay before Dr. Emmerson, a lifeless husk, unmoving, unfeeling. Yet he remained, suspended on the precipice of existence, a precarious balance between life and the cybernetic unknown. His consciousness, now immortalized as a perfect digital code, stood as the most formidable creation in all human endeavors. In the heart of Dr. Emmerson, there brewed no remorse, not even a twinge of sorrow for the fate that had unfolded before him. His insatiable thirst for knowledge had long eclipsed any vestige of empathy or compassion. The martyr, selected with great caution, would not be missed for this world. The final step was to dispose of his body, no longer needed. For that, hydrochloric acid would do the trick. The following day unfurled like a shadowed tapestry, a blur of relentless analysis consuming Dr. Emmerson's every waking hour. He perched before his computer screen, delving deep into the murky depths of the collected consciousness and the troves of associated memories. He dissected the vagrant's life, peeling back the layers to scrutinize every nuance, each surge of raw emotion, and the intricate tapestry of every lived experience. He now held the cryptic key to the mind, and he reveled in the uncharted terrain, an unbridled voyeur of another human's most intimate moments. Yet, beneath the veneer of scientific curiosity, a sinister transformation was beginning to take root. At first, it manifested with subtle rancor, an ephemeral shiver of unease slithering through the recesses of his mind, an insidious whisper of a presence that lingered, insistent, at the hem of his consciousness. Dr. Emmerson, his rationality clinging to the guise of fatigue, attributed these unsettling sensations to the merciless toll exacted by endless hours of immersion in the digital sea of data. However, the presence that clung to him with each passing moment would not be ignored. It burgeoned in size and intensity like an oppressive shadow consuming the air around him. An invisible tether, ethereal and unbreakable. It seemed to connect him inexorably to the remnants of the vagrant's spirit, an enigma that defied the conventions of science and reason. Though a man of unwavering devotion to the empirical, Dr. Emmerson could not dismiss the mounting sense of unease. He scoured his screen, prompting the program, navigating the passages of the man's mind. All the while, he could feel the shadow's looming presence grow ever more tangible, its proximity bordering on the material. Dr. Emmerson's once unwavering confidence faltered in the face of undeniable evidence. The consciousness, once captive to the program's restrictions, now seemed to resist its bonds. It pulsated against the virtual walls, straining at the very limits of its stricture. The line separating the tangible world from the artificial blurred, shaking the foundations of Dr. Emmerson's fundamental understanding of reality. The nanodevice and the host body were destroyed, their purpose fulfilled, the data harvested. By all conceivable metrics, the experiment had achieved unprecedented success. Yet Dr. Emmerson remained imprisoned within the shackles of an insidious dread. He pondered the enigma, the inexplicable specter of the vagrant spirit that clung to him. It was a psychic conduit, a bridge that spanned the chasm between the virtual and the corporeal, a connection that left him confounded. It loomed, a shadowy presence at his side, a haunting echo of life extinguished. With every passing moment, its persistence grew, an ominous specter. The doctor was a man of action, and he knew there must be an explanation. He pored over his screen, prompting the program, exploring the man's mind, feeling the shadow hovering over him, ever more present, ever more materialized. Time crawled forward, but the doctor could find no rational explanation for the phenomena. His fixation with the consciousness slowly evolved, no longer a pool of data to dissect. Instead, it took on an independent existence. It insinuated itself into his thoughts, infiltrated his dreams, and left him in a ceaseless state of turmoil. He sensed its relentless scrutiny, an unyielding gaze that transcended the confines of the digital realm. During his sleepless nights, Dr. Emmerson's mind became a battleground of restless visions. He was no longer a passive observer, but an unwilling participant, thrust into memories that were not his own. He felt the bite of the frigid wind, the gnawing ache of hunger in the pit of his stomach, and the crushing burden of despair that had defined the desperate man's existence. A harrowing descent into madness, a corrosion of his very identity as he grappled with the invasive intrusion of another's consciousness. Within the solitary confines of his laboratory, the doctor's faith, like his reality, crumbled. He questioned the boundaries of science and the moral implications of his creation. Had he ventured so recklessly into uncharted territory that he crossed a threshold from which there was no return? The captured consciousness, his emblem of scientific achievement, had metamorphosed into a malignant specter, a relentless tormentor that refused to fade into obscurity. Haunted by the ceaseless presence of the vagrant's consciousness, his mind unraveled. Once pristine notes devolved into frenzied scribbles, mirroring the chaos within. The doctor would spend some arbitrary time conversing with the empty room, imploring the consciousness to release him from its strangling grip. Yet there was no escape, no reprieve from the relentless encroachment upon his thoughts. Dr. Emmerson's descent into madness was an irrevocable journey. His existence was devoured, leaving behind a hollow husk, shattered by the chilling depths of his own creation. The boundaries of his bodies of knowledge crumbled, and he paid the ultimate price for his hubris. A lifetime tethered to the haunting presence of the consciousness he sought to deceive.